I am in my learning management system called Blackboard at Bellevue College, and I am in my assessments class, as you can see at the top. And our instructor, Robin, has asked us to look at Perry's schema of intellectual development theory. Also, she's asked us to look at a community of practice, what it is, and if we belong to them, what relevance that has to us. Situated cognition, what is it? What does it mean? How does it apply? Routine versus adaptive expertise, and novice and expert behavior, which I believe may fall under Perry's schema in some way. At this point, I don't know how. Also, she wants us to look at quotes from experts' reassessment documents that are associated with this activity. Well, I've done that. Got absolutely nothing out of it. Don't know what they're talking about. One of the things that she has put in her blog, Assessment and eLearning, are some of the three big questions, the big ideas, the big questions that we need to be thinking about. Like, what are my responsibilities in this course? What can I expect from my instructor? And what is a personal learning environment? And how does each module fit into the concept of assessment and eLearning? One of the things that she has asked us to do is consider the levels in Perry's schema of intellectual development and connect them to our own experiences as a learner, be it our personal experience or things that we've observed in our classrooms. And also she's asked us about situated cognition and communities of practice, and how are they connected, and what does that mean? How does that apply to what we're learning and to our everyday life, and to being an instructor or facilitator in an e-learning course? And how do routine and adaptive expertise concepts intersect with novice and expert behavior concepts? Well, that probably follows under Perry's schema of intellectual development, but I will soon know about that when I start reading. Then she says, given intellectual development, communities of practice, situated cognition, routine and adaptive expertise, novice and expert behavior, and how does this relate to an ideal learning environment? So what kinds of e-learning what kinds of learning does e-learning facilitate, and what are its limitations, and how does all this apply, number one, to the theory, and then to the concepts, and finally to our lives and what this means for us in the future? And having a personal learning environment to one or more of the learning theories is a way to do this. We can relate this, supposedly, I hope. And I hope that's one of the things that I begin to understand as I read through the material. And then we have her blog on ill-structured problems. Well, there are a lot of ill-structured problems in this world. Most of mine are. It's a matter of deciding, what the problem really is. And you can look at a problem and say, okay, it's this, it's that, it's black or white. Easy answer. Well, not really. Sometimes it takes a lot of research to try to figure out what the heck the problem really is and how we're going to solve it. And eventually we will solve it as it relates to our own personal biases, prejudices, worldviews. And most ill-structured problems are probably transferable to the way we deal with all problems in our lives. However, I think certain disciplines, there's more of a black and white answer. I think it's much easier to come to a correct answer. For example, in mathematics, 2 and 2 will make 4. And no matter how you put 2 and 2 together, it's going to come to the quantifiable conclusion of 4. But when you're dealing with people and the liberal arts and how people behave, how they think, and how they react in everyday life situations, it's much harder to study that, quantify it, build testable hypothesis, and eventually a theory. And I think that's probably what Perry was trying to do. Every discipline has its theory. But today, particularly in sociology and political science and the liberal arts, most of us want to quantify this. We want to test our hypothesis. We want to build our theory with testable hypothesis. And these are things that can be torn down and changed over time. I do not think that Perry's